Folks, your OS Reviews. You're watching our video review of the Intsun Bluetooth Mini keyboard with touchpad, and this one retails on Amazon for under 20 bucks, so it's pretty inexpensive and has a rather large multi-touch enabled touchpad for you to control gestures on your computer, your Mac, PC, or even on a smartphone and tablet. It works with both iOS and Android and uses Bluetooth 4.0 to create an energy efficient connection, and it works pretty nicely. The full QWERTY keyboard has 80 keys. It's a little bit small in size, but it's also very portable, and it takes two AAA batteries, which is not included unfortunately, but battery life is on the longer side of the spectrum. Taking a look at the packaging, have a pretty generic build here. On the back you have a few more details about the unit. There is 10 meters for the working range, and you can see it has a ultra flat design, which is good for portability, but I would have preferred to see a island style layout just to make things a bit more tactile and easy to press. Inside of the packaging you have access to a user manual and just the keyboard itself, and that's pretty much it. So if we take everything out and take a look at the design of the keyboard first, on the front we have a matte finish, but on the back we have a highly glossy and reflective surface, which tracks quite a bit of fingerprints even though it looks pretty nice. There are a few applications that you can use this keyboard when paired to a tablet or even a computer that would make sense. For one, if you're traveling, it's a nice option. Secondly, if you have a computer hooked up to a monitor and you're sitting on your couch browsing the web, this is a good option to go with. Taking a closer look here, we have a multifunctional touchpad area. The first function is as a numerical D-pad that you can tap on. The second function over here is as a multi-touch enabled touchpad, so you can pinch in, pinch out, and it also supports any zoom gestures and going up and down on web pages. Over here of the keyboard itself, which again is on the smaller side of the spectrum, so if you have larger hands it takes some acclimation to get used to. The keys themselves have a nice click to them when you tap on them, and it's pretty responsive and easy to use. With that being said, I would have preferred larger keys and buttons, but overall it does a pretty good job. On the back you can see that the actual compartment which holds the two AAA batteries also dubs as a stand, so it props up the keyboard at a nice angle when you're typing, which is a nice feature to have. There's also a few rubber feet which prevents the unit from sliding around when you place it on a surface or onto a desk. You also find access to a power on-off switch on the very back when you're not using the product. So once we're paired to a Android device, it's quite simple to use. We have it on an LG G Flex right now. And as you can see here, I can also bring up the use of a on-screen D-pad right now. So the touchpad here actually does the same thing as kind of a scroll wheel. It's going to go back and forth between different applications. If I wanted to, I can go over here to the second application, which allows me to bring up a Optical Mouse, so that's going to show up on screen. You can see that it dubs as a traditional mouse for me to navigate around, perhaps when browsing the web, looking at ebooks, and it works pretty nicely. And otherwise, I can also type on things relatively comfortably without too many errors. After I used it for about an hour or two, I got kind of used to it. Looking through a camera, it's still going to be slightly difficult to type on, but if I try my best over here, I can type something like, "This is a test." And you can see there's very little lag. It works quite nicely. There's also autocorrection on your phone, which should eliminate any errors if they do appear. So it's definitely workable if you're on the go or maybe on a bus or you're going to type on a plane. It's a nice thing to have because it's portable enough to sit onto the tray that might be sitting in front of you on a plane or on a longer train ride. So it works nicely for those options. You'll see some dedicated keys that's built for different operating systems on board. Like we have an Android key on top, which brings up an automatic search key. We have one for Windows and also one for iOS. The function keys on down below over here. There's also a dedicated Windows key that will bring up the start drawer if you're using Windows 7 or Windows 8, and those work nicely as well. In terms of drivers, that's a basic plug-and-play connection, so there are none that are needed, and when we tested with different operating systems from Windows 8 to Windows 7 to Android and iOS, we didn't have any compatibility issues. Again, it's pretty fast. Even if you turn your phone off, the Bluetooth will still be connected with that 10-meter range. So let's say if I tap on something over here, you'll see it automatically wakes up my phone and works quite nicely. So at the end of the day, I have to say that the Intsun wireless Bluetooth keyboard with touchpad is an interesting combination. It's ultra portable, it's inexpensive, and the unique selling point here is going to be that touchpad, which actually works quite well. It's pretty sensitive. You can scroll around with it, use a mouse and click on it, and it's a nice feature to have in general. The keys could be a little bit larger, and also they could have used an island style layout, which I think would be better. However, it's a nice companion device overall. To learn more information about this keyboard, be sure to read our full RIM review. This has been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews.